I see that you're in the studio. That's even better.
Yeah.
Hey, the first thing I wanted to talk about is, obviously the brand new album. I got the tracks from John Freeman. I'm sorry, and I'll tell you what, I listened through, and it's just as good as I thought it was going to be. Just as good
thank
as
you.
I mean, just excellent work. And what was it like, going into this one? I mean, this is obviously the fourth album, and you guys put out, some really good videos. Far From Home, Hunt the Flame, Holy Ground, obviously. What was it like going into this one? Was it a little different than the last three? I mean, what was the difference here with this one?
Yeah, I wanted it to be different. After every Freefall album, I say this will be the last one, but no, I don't. So when I decided finally, yeah, I will do a new one, I wanted to do it different, and you could say it's both musical, a bit different, a bit more progressive maybe than the other ones, and also I work with a lot of new singers because I work with my old idols like Tony Martin and Jolene Turner, and that's great, but it's also great to discover some new voices, and I wanted to do that. So most of the singers are quite new to me on this album, except for Jakob Samuel. We did stuff before, and Kristian, of course, we did Ginevra, right. But a bit new. I mean, they are not that new, but a bit new for me.
New for you,
compared
right,
to Tony Martin, that are quite new. So yeah, so that was the goal, to work with some new singers and make some more progressive stuff. Not that progressive, but maybe a bit. I think you still can hear it's my kind of style.
Oh, absolutely. And really, when you listen to the new stuff too, I mean, if you listen to from the first one and go all the way through to to this album, I hear a lot of I hear a little more of the melodic side in this as well. Like you said, you went from the progressive, and you hear it in the changes of the vocalist. And what when you go into recording like this, like you said, with these different types of singers, I mean, what's some of the things that you do as far as an artist? I mean, as far as adjustments to make, is it something that you go in and say, hey, I want to keep it like this, or do you kind of change it to to fit the vocalist that you're going to use for the song?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot about how it will sound with the vocalist. I don't have any finished songs. I have some ideas, and then I ask the singers if they want to do it, and most of the times they say, yeah, but I want to hear the song first. Then I write something that will fit them the best I can think. And some of the singers this time, they even wrote their own lyrics. Jake E and Kristian, they wrote both a bit of melodies and lyrics, and that worked out great. And also had a great lyric writer for some of the songs, Jane Gold from England, that helped out with some of the lyrics. And that's the first time. Most of these albums I write everything on my own, and but it feels great if I work with great people. It turns out to be great in the end. So I think I will do more of that in the future. So I have time to make more music, and not, but because sometimes lyrics can take a lot of time. You hear my Swinglish when I talk, I have to Google everything. Is this cool?
That's understandable, no problem.
Yeah, but but I mean, the singers are in focus. So when I write a song, even if I have the coolest riff, I need the melody to be perfect for the singer. That's the most important thing. So I try to hear the singer's voice in my head and hear, is it good with this high note, or is the singer more aggressive, or should I do the melody faster? It's a lot of hours I think about stuff like that.
Yeah, and then I can just imagine, with all the things that you do too, the projects that you've been involved in, and obviously this one, you have more of a kind of like, since this is your project, you kind of have more of the say so as far as things goes? I mean, was this something that you were involved, in a production as well? And how does
Yeah,
that take?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I have the last word when it, and I do all the arrangements, and so absolutely. But at the same time, especially with the singers, I when they sing, I tell them, feel free to do your own stuff, and you don't have to copy the vocals on the demos, because I think they sing a lot better when they can come up with their own ideas and feel free. So
right. And this is all good stuff. I keep lists here, my notes, just to just so I'm on top of everything. But
great
this one
T-shirt,
here,
by the way.
What's that?
Great T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I always got to represent. That there's no doubt. I've been a fan for so long, so believe me, it really is a pleasure to speak with you. It really is. But with this new album, there's a lot of diversity in this one too. That I hear, and I know that comes kind of with the the vocalist and things like that. It still has that epic sound though. And I like that's kind of like the style that you bring to everything. It's not just a song that just, it's more than a song. Let's put it that way. It's kind of like something that just, hey, look, this is really something that we're going to be hit with here, and it's going to be something that that it really does. It transcends so many styles.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, and thank you. But when I work on something, it's never good enough. I don't think like that. I make it like it is. When I write a song or produce a song, I write it like it's the last song I will write in my life. That's the approach I always have on an album. Right. So this is the last album I ever will write. So I give it all, and it depends what you like. But I like the epic big stuff, and I put a lot of orchestra, sounds in it, and a lot of choirs and a lot of everything. But then I'm lucky to work with Jakob Hansen in Denmark, because he can handle. I push in all these sounds, and I want to have. He can mix that. Not everyone can mix all this stuff together, but he's great. Yeah, he's used to Primal Fear and Epica and Arch Enemy, all that big stuff. So it's great. He's really super. But yeah, I like it to be bombastic and a lot of energy. When I listen to it, after I'm done now, when everything is finished and I can relax and I take a beer and just sit back and listen to it, I can sometimes get, exhausted. So much is happening. And I try to listen to all the details, Yeah.
It's good to hear that. I mean, because I know that you guys as musicians, and you in particular, you put so much effort into it. And I really love the sound. I think, with what you were just talking about, the the recording process, and how some of this comes together. When you as an artist go to write a song, how does a say a free fall song come about? Is this something that you put a is it a chorus? Is it a hook? How does a song go together for you?
It can start with a riff, it can start with a melody, or it can start with a sound on my keyboard sometimes. Quite often I start on the keyboard, actually, because even if I'm much better at guitar, sometimes it's too much muscle memory on the guitar. I play it, a lot of hours, and my fingers is just moving around. So I can feel, it feels too much the same or something. So, but if I play on the keyboard, I really suck on the keyboard. So then I do, some weird mistakes, or that I never would do on guitar. But then I can come up with some really cool new ideas. And so it's not always the best approach to take the instrument that you can handle a bit. But of course, sometimes I do it on the guitar too, and often, you can see me sitting in the studio. I have the keyboard here, and I'm sitting at the same time with the guitar, and I play on the keyboard and play on the guitar, and then program some drums at the same time, so it can be very,
That's a lot of work.
And I have a mic here, so if I come up with a good vocal line, I try to sing as well. So it's like a one-man band.
Yeah, that's it. You got to be jack of all trades, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if I'm not a great drummer, I know how I want great drums to sound. So I program a lot of drums. Sometimes I play the drums on the keyboard, and then I give it to the poor drummer that have to, play it for real.
Let him figure it out, huh?
Yeah, but Anders, the drummer I had on the last album, he's fantastic. He never complains. He just great, and he nails it. So
that's good to be able to work with guys like that. Because you're visualizing your art and how you want things to be, and then to be able to deliver it to these guys, and really they turn your your ideas into magic too. So which is excellent to hear.
That's the goal. And I mean, if I'm sitting here in Sweden and there's a singer in India or America, or I want to deliver the vibe to them, and it's not something that I can talk about. I want them to hear a great demo that they say, wow, now I'm gonna give 100%. And so I put a lot of work in the demos, and it sounds almost like the finished album, because even if I have the best song in the world and I would sit in the kitchen with just a guitar and record it on my phone, I don't think the singer would think it's the best song in the world. And they need to hear the whole thing to get the vibe.
Right. And it's good. I mean, that's great that that you get to work with guys like this. And you have I got to switch pages. I apologize. All the free fall albums, I mean, there's so many that stand out to me, and you mentioned a couple of the guys that you work with, and I think one of my favorite songs is Tony Martin with When the Sky Falls, when you did that a few years ago, and obviously Mark Bowles is another one that stands out with Our Time Has Come. What's it like to to work with those guys? I know you said that they heroes of yours, and guys that you really follow. What's it like to do something with those guys and work with them in one of your songs?
Yeah, it feels unreal. I mean, as you mentioned, Tony Martin, I'm such a big fan of the Sabbath album he did, Headless Cross and Tear on the, for me that was, I think I was around 15 when I discovered those albums, and then I listen a lot. I know every song, and just to have that on your own music. And I remember that Tony, he wanted to write lyrics, so we wrote together, and it was very cool. But it's unreal. It's really, I mean, if the record company would tell me, it doesn't work out, and sorry, we can't release it, that would be worth it anyway, because I would have that Tony Martin song. I could play in my car every day. That was enough for me, So I do it for myself. I want to have it's doing your own mixtape for the car. So
that's great.
That's what I'm thinking when I'm contacting all the singers. I want to have that. I want to listen to that guy and that.
That's it. You have the mixtape put together. You say, hey, I want him, and if it doesn't work out, I still have it. That's great.
Yeah, not everyone says yes, but
well, I'm sure you get a decent amount of yeses. Some of those guys.
And I'm also glad that they asked me for the song. I don't want them to say yes before. I wanted to hear the song, and I want them to like the song. So it's not for the money or anything. I want it for the, that they love the stuff. That's the goal. And yeah, it seems to work out. I ask singers that are into my style, I think that so. And now when I wrote for Tony Martin, I asked him on the first Freefall album, and he said, "Yeah, it's a great song, but it's not really my vibe." And I had, it's too happy or something. So on the next one, I said, "Oh no, now I'm gonna write the ultimate Tony Martin song." And then that was When the Sky Falls. Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, great song and great title. But the lyrics, no, that's not." So he wrote his own lyrics, and I didn't complain because I think he's one of the best lyric writers. So that's just great.
He is. He's one of those guys too. That's really, I feel is underappreciated too. I mean, his Sabbath albums were fantastic. I mean,
yeah,
amazing.
for me, yeah. But it wasn't the biggest years for Sabbath, maybe.
Right.
But he couldn't do it better. It was, for me, it was. I don't want to compare it, but I know I think it's fantastic.
Right, I agree. And you, I wanted to talk about the Primal Fear. Obviously, I mean, I know that was the first time I actually heard you. When you got started there, I know you did, one of the songs in 2007, I believe, and you did the 16/6 album. Was kind of like where I first heard you. What was it, what was it like? I mean, starting with Primal Fear. I mean, obviously these guys are, they've become a huge band right now. They're a band that I told Ralph, I did an interview with Ralph a few years ago, and I told him it's when Primal Fear shows up, at least to me, it's not just a show, it's an event. and that's kind of like the way I feel. What was it like, in the early years of Primal Fear, for you is, just building up in that band?
Yeah, that was very strange because I think they contacted me because they heard the first Allen Lander album with Russell Allen and Jerome Lander, and they heard my songwriting. And the first contact was actually because they asked me to help with the writing for Ralph's solo album that came out. Yeah, what was it? 10 years ago, maybe more. It might be more. Yeah, 15 years. But anyway, the strange thing is that I was in Stockholm and in a record store, and I just bought the album with, the Metal Is Forever, that song. And the same day or the day after, I got an email from Matt Sinner, and I didn't say, "Matt Sinner, you mean are you the guy in Primal Fear?" And I said, yeah. It's what? I just bought your album. I'm a big fan, And then he asked me, we are coming to Copenhagen, and can you come by and we talk about some songwriting? And then maybe some months later, he asked if I wanted to join. And it was a little problematic because I had my first son then, and I wasn't prepared to tour. They tour a lot sometimes. But then finally I got on board, and that was an experience. I listen a lot to Gamma Ray, and so Ralph is, first I listened a lot to Halloween, and then I went over to Gamma Ray, and he's one of the great singers for me. Power metal singers. He is one of the best, and to be on the same stage as him, that it feels totally strange. It was fantastic, but really cool. It was great, and then to write a lot of songs with them and everything, that was cool. And then they have been really kind. Maybe you heard that I'm not always touring, and they've been nice to me, and I could take some time off, and they had another guitar player. But now I haven't toured for years. I think the last show I did with Primal Fear was right before the pandemic on Sweden Rock Festival. That was the last one.
Right.
But they have two great guitar players now, so.
And that was one of my other questions too, you know, talking about the Primal Fear is what is it like to work with those guys? I mean, you know, when they came to Pittsburgh, actually came here twice, and, you know, I got to meet all the guys and talk with Alex a little bit and Tom, you know, both great guitar players in their own way. And what's cool, I think, is about all three of you guys is how different everybody is, but how well it blends together in those differences. What's it like to work with those guys?
I mean, they are really great guitar players, and we are all into heavy metal, and so it's great. And there are no big egos or anything, and yeah, it's not a lot of discussions. We just write our songs and we put it together, and then we have Matt and Ralph that are kind of, you know, having the last word on the production. They are taking care of that part, and so yeah, never any problems. It's just cool.
See, that's cool.
I think maybe it's, I don't know if it's something with the age. If it's a bunch of you know, 20 years in the same room with.
Oh yeah,
we all have
imagine.
We all have released a lot of stuff and toured a lot, and we, you know, if someone tells me, oh, you know, this song is not right for this album, I would never, you know, think about it.
You're right about that too. It comes with you know, experience and really professionalism too. You know, you see the business from, you know, the inside, and you come up through the ranks, you know, and you appreciate it more, and I guess you appreciate the other artists even more too.
Yeah, and I really learned through the years that it's not enough to, you know, be just great on your instrument or a great songwriter, because if you're not a cool guy, that's doesn't matter. You don't.
Right,
no one wants to work with a, you know. You have to keep the deadlines, you know, and yeah, be cool.
Yeah, you gotta be somebody that somebody wants to work with, for sure.
Yeah, that's almost more important. Even if I would be the best guitar player, then I have to make a solo career. That's the only thing. Yeah.
So what about you know, we were just talking about Ralph, obviously, and you know, and what's it like? You know, he's one of those guys, like you said. I mean, you know, very dynamic as a lead vocalist. I mean, he's one of those, you know, when you see the band in concert, you know, Ralph obviously, you know, commands the attention. What's it like, you know, working with him, you know, from a songwriting perspective? I mean, he's you know, like you said, he's kind of like the guy that's him and Matt are the guys that, you know, really give final approval. But when you go into a writing process, what's it like to work with him?
Yeah, I guess I'm lucky because they really like my style, and I like the Primal Fear style. So it's always very easy. I write some riffs, or maybe sometimes I write a full track, or it depends. And then I send it to them, and almost every time they are, wow, it's great, and let's do something with it. So it's just. Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, we write maybe more songs that would fit on one album, and then we save it for something, or just throw it away. It happens too, but yeah, it's always a very pleasant process.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah, it's never that I felt, oh, maybe this is not good enough or anything. And at the same time, we're really honest too, because if it's not good for the album, maybe it can be good, but good for something else, you know. Maybe we already have a ballad. We don't need 4 ballads on a Primal Fear album, and it could be that kind of stuff too. But I think we all love the same kind of music, and we understands it, and that makes it very easy and, you know, comfortable.
And that's good, because it definitely comes across, you know, listening as a fan. you know, how tight the
Yeah,
band is.
I hope so. I think it's hard to fake it. To be, you know, if I would be, you know, sleaze metal player, and yeah, but we want you to do a power metal song that I don't really like. I think it's hard to come up with something really good, and I think the fans can hear it too.
Right. Yeah, you kind of overextend yourself, try to do too much and make too many changes other than be yourself, obviously.
Yeah, because when I write something or a riff or a song, if I don't get goosebumps from it, then it's something for the trash can. I have to like it. If I don't like it, who will like it then, you know?
Right. That's great to hear. I mean, that just says, you know, how much you really care about what you do. I mean, it's a passion, obviously, you know, to be a musician for so long, so many, you know, great bands and you know, really so many great projects too. When I, you know, look at the list of the projects that you've been on and the bands you've been associated with, like I love Starbreaker and Tony Harnell, obviously, I mean, is tremendous and those albums. And you know, you did the yeah, let me switch my page here. I apologize. Do this real quick. You know, but you know, you did the a project called Heart Healer.
Yeah.
You know, which I really liked because it was the, you know, it was kind of like that metal opera, you know, kind of like what Avantasia did. And so many great vocalists on that. How did that project come about? Because it's really a cool story when you read about it.
Yeah, it started with that I really like, you know, soundtracks and movie trailer music and orchestra music, and I'm sure you heard that I try to mix it in sometimes.
Oh yeah, right.
And
right.
then I thought I wanted to do it, you know, all the way, and don't care. I don't want to care if a song is 8 minutes or what it is. I just want to do if I want the orchestra to be, you know, 2 minutes in the middle of the song, I will. And then I thought, yeah, a metal opera, that's the perfect way to do it. And then I had this idea to just have a female vocalist too, and yeah, because I work with mostly guys, and that would be cool to do something more for that kind of voices. And I have some great singers on that album too, and so that was really cool. Yeah, and so I had a plan and I had a story, and I think I asked the singers too. But then when I was going to, you know, write the lyrics, so normally I can write a song and then move on to the next one. But this time all the songs had to go, you know, like, have the same story. Right, so I was close to give up. You know, that was really hard.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but because it's at the same time it has to be great songs. It's just not, you know, like a long thing, but just to keep the story. So that was really tricky to have good songs or great songs, but at the same time the whole album has to be one story. Yeah. So I said the same thing after Heart Healer. Never again. This was the hardest. But already now I have thought on the next one. So let's see.
That's great though, because it really, and that's where the, you know, the diversity comes in. I mean, and that style. I mean, you could really tell that it's you, and it was something different. Yet it really came across like, you know, this is Magnus Karlsson, but it's something different. And I really liked that album, and, you know, like I said, it was something different, but really good stuff.
Thank you.
So some of the other ones, you know, we talked about Starbreaker, and you know, what about some of the other ones that you were been in, like you were talking about Alan, you know, doing things with him, and you know, you did the where am I at here on the list? I apologize again. You did a couple projects. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
Yeah. No, I mean it's hard for me to remember everything, so I don't. I don't think yet. I also have to look. But
you did the one last year. I know it began with a G. Godiva, was that what it was?
Ginevra with Kristian and Jimmy from Heat and Magnus that played in Eclipse before. Yeah.
Right. Great
That
project.
was one of the latest, and that was something from the Frontiers, the record company. They say we have this singer that we really believe in, and we really want to do something great around this singer, and we want to do a band with great musicians. And I think the first plan, I don't know if it was just Swedish guys, but that was the result at least. So when I was asked, I didn't know anything more than Kristian, the singer, and I heard him sing, and I was blown away. I said, "Yeah, let's do something. That's great."
Yeah, that's really good stuff, and it's like I said, that list is amazing. You know, with the projects that you've done. Now, how about you as a guitar player? I mean, what are some of your influences? I mean, I know I hear the classical side, obviously. You know, who were some of the guys that you kind of implemented into your style of playing?
When I was really young, as a kid, I didn't really listen to guitar players. I just listened to the whole band. So I listened to Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Dio, and I didn't know who played what, and I didn't care so much. I was, this is great, everything is great,
Right.
and I think that helped me a bit in the songwriting. That I'm not that guitar player that plays, it's guitar over everything. I want to have great guitars, but I don't want the guitars to be louder than the vocals and take over everything. Right. It has to be part of the song. But then when I was a bit older, in the teenager, I discovered Steve Vai and Steve Morse, and I actually have Steve Morse, his signature guitar that I play. I use it all the time. It's great. Yeah, I finally bought it.
That's really nice too.
Yeah, and still, he's one of my favorite. When I think about technique and tone and his kind of playing, I really like his playing a lot. And then there's a lot of new great guys. I mean, if you just check out the guitar players on YouTube now, it's crazy. So I don't understand how they can play it, but yeah, for me, it's very important with the sound, to have a really good riff. If you listen to Balls to the Wall with Accept, that sound, that's what I'm going for. I want to, a bit like we have in Primal Fear and Judas Priest and that guitar sound. And I mean, you don't have to be the best guitar player in the world. I mean, it's just to have that sound. That it's great.
So I like that you said that too. That's so important too, because there's guitarists that and musicians, especially guitar players, that just jump on and just try to play as fast as they can. But I like what you said right there, because there's so much melody involved and a feeling, and like you said, I got it on this side, Balls to the Wall.
Yeah,
hanging up. You just said it, Udo. But yeah, that sound though, that heavy, crunch. There's so much, feeling, and it could just be something, just basic like that, like you said.
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't have to be advanced at all. It has to, but it's like, yeah, like back to the Balls to the Wall riff. That's not that difficult to play, but it's not easy to copy it, to have exactly that sound that Accept could deliver at that time. So even if it's not the fast playing, you could put a lot of time spend a lot of time tweaking and trying to find the best, key for the riff, or so yeah, that's more important than to play fast stuff. I love that too. That's great to play fast stuff, but to have that really great sound in the riff that's hard to beat.
I agree. I totally agree. And how about, when you go back and, maybe it could be this album, the new album or anything, what was something that you look back on and you said, man, this really sounds great. This is my something that you really thought was your best. And you said, this is definitely it. I've nailed it. That's a tough one, I'm sure.
I think it changes. But I have to say, maybe it sounds like I'm bragging, but because I'm spending so much time before on it, I'm not regretting it. It's not that I feel, oh, this wasn't that good. Maybe on the really old stuff, now I could hear, oh, maybe I could play it better or do it better now. But otherwise, I think I'm pretty proud of it, and I can enjoy everything. And some small details, maybe sometimes, oh, maybe that would be better to not have a double kick on that part, or some small stuff I'm trying to learn and make better for next time. But yeah, maybe if I was forced to choose something, I guess that that song we talked about with Tony Martin would be on my top 10 list at least.
That's a great
I remember
song.
after that album, I listened so much to that song after, not because I thought it was that great, but because it was Tony Martin singing. And I remember one riff. That's a sound thing with Primal Fear. I think it was Angel of Mercy on some albums ago. When I listened to the video, and I listened to the video in a TV, with the crappy speakers from a TV. When you don't have the big system, you just have the TV speaker.
Right.
in that crappy speaker, I can hear, wow, the sound was pumping, and then I felt, wow, this is when you can listen to your stuff in crappy stuff and you still hear this is great. That's a cool feeling, but because you can impress everyone when you turn it up in you have this big system, but just play it on your phone, with a phone speaker, you go, wow, this is cool. So the Angel of Mercy riff, that was cool.
That's a great song. And you said it too, like when you play it on a cell phone, you kind of get that thing like, man, wait till I play this in the headphones, or playing for the guys on a system. That's a good feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Especially when that's something that you write. I don't know how long, if there's a certain interview length time here, but I don't know if they have
No, this is the last interview for today, so.
Okay, well, that's good.
So it's cool.
No pressure then. I'll keep it, so it's nothing crazy. But you looked at, I wanted to ask you this, and I ask a lot of guys that I get to interview. And, as far as festivals in Europe, obviously I'm in America, and, we see these festivals, the ones in Germany, and, and obviously just huge festivals, Sweden Rock, where you're at. What's it like playing something like that, for the European fans, as far as, playing, for the US fans? Is there a difference, as far as the fans, how they react?
Actually, I never played in the US, so I don't know really.
Oh, that's
is it that bad?
I'm always curious. What's the difference? I mean, you see the Euro fans when you watch the videos, and the place is going crazy, and they're throwing stuff. That's the way it should be. I'm just, what's it like playing for that type of audience over there?
Yeah, but that's fantastic. And just to meet, I have to say, I played, different styles. I played, jazz, pop, and folk music, and that's great. But I never experienced what you can experience with a metal band on a scene, on a festival or a club. Also, the contact you have with the audience, that's something else. It's like, I don't know you, but we are in the same. We are already friends because you like metal, and then we are friends.
Right.
That's all we need. And you can feel that on stage. That everybody is so positive. I did I don't know if you know about Frankfurt, the music fair. It's like NAMM,
Right.
but maybe it's a bit smaller these days.
Right.
But I was so scared. I did a gig there, and they said, "Yeah, you get play in half an hour," and I thought, "Oh, will be the music police or something." Just everybody's musician standing, but it was so great. It was like I was playing there, and it was metal fans coming in, screaming, "Whoa!"
Nice, nice.
So I love that vibe. So I was totally not nervous anymore, and it worked out. Yeah, but it's incredible. And sometimes on these festivals and gigs, we have some meet and greet stuff, and that's so cool to meet everyone. And they tell you stories about, I listened to your albums when I did, that, and it's so great to hear and meet them. I love it. So yeah, I'm missing it now because I haven't played live for some years now. Yeah, since before the pandemic. And but at the same time, even if I love to play live, I think I love studio even more. But because I love to come up in the morning to have an empty desk, and then in the evening have something totally new that didn't exist before. That's
cool.
really, really cool. I think that's the strongest thing I can do to create something new. That's my goal.
That's really cool to hear, because you create so many great things. I mean, that's coming from me. I love listening to you. I already know that, hey, when your name's attached to something, I already know what I'm going to get. I know it's going to be great. I know the quality is going to be excellent. And it's what's another good thing too is I know that it doesn't matter if I'm playing in a cell phone or in headphones or in the car. The car is the best thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
You have that cranking in there, and it's it's there.
Yeah.
But how about in closing here, you look back on your career, and you've done so much already. What do you want the fans to remember, as your legacy? What do you want Magnus Karlsson's legacy to be as far as a musician?
Sometimes I feel that everything I write now, that's coming from what I listened to when I was 12, 13, when I listened to Iron Maiden and Priest, and so everything is some kind of tribute to that stuff.
Cool.
That was the name. That was the name of the first band, Last Tribe. We are the last tribe.
Great stuff.
We listen to hard rock and metal, and we have the jeans jacket with the patches and everything, and
right.
And I hopefully think that they will. You will remember that I continue the legacy from the 80s in some kind of
That's cool.
good way, because I don't want to sound exactly like the 80s. I want to do something new, but I don't want to destroy. I think you can hear it. You can hear that I listen to those bands. You can hear Queensryche when you can hear some Dio.
Right.
And that's the stuff that I love. And so, as I said, I write it for myself, and I write it to the listeners that listen to the same stuff that I grew up to, and also, of course, to younger people that didn't know so much about those bands in those days, but they can still discover it. I mean,
right.
You don't need to be old. That's great. You mentioned Sweden rock. If you go there, you could say there's a lot of people in the 50 plus, but also they are bringing their kids. So and the kids are growing up now, so it's a new generation listen to that kind of stuff, and they have a lot of the old bands are coming there.
Right.
They all Maiden and Priest and all that stuff.
That's all good stuff. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to beat it.
Yeah, there's nothing that does. And it kind of seems like the music's is kind of making a comeback right now. It's kind of like we went into this this phase to where, at least over here anyway, that it's was just like not dying, but it just kind of went more underground again, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But now it's it kind of seems like people are coming back, and they need something to grab onto,
Yeah. Yeah, but it's great music, and it's great. Yeah. Like the strange thing is, if you listen to radio or TV, it's not much metal you see there or listen, but the festival, that's the big ones. If AC/DC, Maiden, or Metallica comes to Sweden, there is hardly a chance to buy a ticket because they sell right away. And I mean, how many artists can do that?
Right. Right. Yeah, that's great to hear. Well, in closing here, this is the last thing. I just want to say thank you, to you. This is from me, just to say thank you so much for doing what you do, because I listen to what you do. I listen to your music, and just so many great things that come out of it. I mean, memories and times that remembering the first time I heard the song too, and say, man, that thing kills just as much as it did back then when I first heard it. So thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for dedicating that time and giving us your art, man, because it means so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's still unreal to hear it from someone, so far away that I don't know, but that the music can reach out. That's crazy. It's still, unreal. But thank you very much.
It does.
I'm sorry.
I really appreciate it, Magnus. Thanks for the time, and I didn't hear you. Sorry.
No, it freezed a bit. So
Oh, okay. Oh, I just want to say, thanks, and I wish you the best of luck with the new album and everything that you do, and thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you. Great talking to you.
And I'd love to have you on again at some other time too. So best of luck, and keep doing what you're doing.
I guess you don't have to wait that long for the next album. So always something new. So
that's fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a great job. We love you.
Thanks. Right.